Disclaimer. This content is created based on my unprofessional opinion and analysis of related topics for social communication purposes, to expand our mutual views by discussing and analyzing the matters. The source of information and evidence for this content is social media, which contains facts, rumors, and some other fragments without proof for their authenticity or accuracy. So, please pay special attention. There is no claim on the reliability and confirmation of the conclusions presented here.
Hi everybody, I hope everything is going well for you. In my previous video, I shared my opinion that Brian is not only innocent, but also he is the witness of the case who knows a lot about the murder. So to be honest, I don't see his change of venue or his trial moving to another county as a coincidence. Actually, it is the only way for the truth to come to light. To me, if he was supposed to have a trial in Idaho, he could only be freed at most, but the ones who run the financial foundations of Moscow wouldn't let the process go in a way anything to be revealed to the public. I hope everything goes well for him and the victims, and at last, justice for all of them to be served. My last video was relatively long, so I decided to keep some points for this video. As you see, I concluded that Brian has been the witness and presented my reasons and reasoning on it in my video. Now I want to point out some matters that could be more confirmation for my speculations. Let's see one of these. As I told you in my video, I believe the driver who drove around the house at the time was mentioned in the affidavit must have been Brian after being informed by someone, maybe by Brent Kopacka, went there to see what was going on there. Also, I told you that the time has been claimed by the MPD as the murder time couldn't be fitted to the case because by the time Brian had reached there, the murder must have been finished already, so this can be a good reason for the time mentioned by Tracy Chapin.
2 a.m. is a dark hour, I can tell you that.
I think she knows much more, but because of being concerned about her other 2 children who are studying at the same university, she not only can't say anything, but also acted in a way that stunned many people. I understand them and admire this family, that on any excuse they didn't accept to be presented in Brian's court at the time. They knew he wasn't the guy, and by withdrawing from the process, didn't want to accuse anyone else as the murderer of their loved one. The other point I want to bring up here is Brian's alibi, which many people found ridiculous, and many others wanted the public to see it as ridiculous like many biased people on mainstream media. I try to make a video about it later. But there is a very delicate point in this alibi. So, I want to ask, why didn't Ms. Ann Taylor tell the court Brian was at his house and his cell phone might have been off or dead coincidentally, or whatever else? She didn't deny he had been out. She only had to present an alibi according to the judge's order. But I don't think the defense team had been obliged to present the real alibi at that stage of the court processing, and they could keep many things for the last trial. You may ask, then what about Mr. Sayre's testimony for the defendant? Did he lie? Not at all. Whatever he explained as a super expert individual in this regard, in my translation as a non-expert person, means that the evidence of the cell phone pings couldn't be a sufficient piece of evidence to accuse a person of murder based on it, and the one who claimed he had been at Wawawai Park was Ms. Ann Taylor, who legally had to present an alibi consistent with that stage of Brian's court. That was the reason I expressed this meaning through this picture in my video at the time. I wanted to say that an insufficient accusation deserves an insufficient alibi. I want to remind you again, please, and more, please be mindful that all I present in my videos are only my own speculations and my way of translating people's ideas and behaviors, and it can be completely wrong. Thus, in no way do I want to attribute my thinking to anybody. According to my personal translation from what I heard from Mr. Sayre's explanations and saw in Mr. Thompson's reaction, it meant either Mr. Thompson had to confess that they had accused Brian because of being the witness and wanted to shut him off, or they couldn't accuse him of the murder based on insufficient piece of evidence. So, nothing was lie or mistake, but everything had a hidden meaning that only themselves knew in their interactions, which might have been enough for the time until the main trial is held. So, by now, I am almost sure the murder had happened at 2 o'clock. Brian was the guy Dylan had heard and seen, but he wasn't the killer, he only wanted to help them. I have more conclusions that try to share with you later. Thank you all for watching.